In this video, I'll reveal the most unattractive quality you can have as a guy, which in my experience is way more common than you think. It's a repulsive, disgusting disease that turns girls off like nothing else. And yet, it's actually often encouraged in our society. First, I'll tell you what it is, and then I'll tell you how to get rid of this disease for the sake of your future romantic and social connections. So the other day, I was at the gym, and a song by Medusa started playing. Here were the lyrics. Why don't you pick up the phone when I'm all alone? Do you hate me? Hits me like a heart attack. When you don't call me back, someone save me. Of course, Medusa is not giving out relationship advice and is just making a cool beat. But it's not like he wrote those lyrics randomly. It's what majority of men can relate to. A guy repeatedly calling a girl and her not picking up. Then he interprets her response as hate, saying it's as bad as a heart attack, and then begging someone else to save him. Of course, it's only a song, but let's not pretend that things like this don't happen in real life. It happens way too often, and it doesn't even have to be on such a grand scale. Here are other more subtle behaviors of neediness that turns girls off. Regularly asking her things like, do you like me? Or are we okay? Constantly justifying your actions or decisions, even when it's not necessary. For example, texting her, I hope you don't think I'm ignoring you, I've just been really busy, but I'd really want to see you. Or pushing for the girlfriend label way too early, and talking about the long-term plans like moving in or marriage within the first few dates. So why is neediness so unattractive? From an evolutionary perspective, humans are drawn strength, confidence, and the ability to thrive independently. And neediness indicates the opposite, weakness and dependence, which might suggest to a girl that you might not be a reliable or capable mate. Neediness also subconsciously signals that you don't have a lot of other options, or that you don't see yourself as very valuable. According to the social exchange theory, people seek partners who provide a balance of reward, like companionship or support, with minimal cost, like emotional burden. And neediness can increase the perceived cost of a potential relationship because the potential partner may feel that they constantly have to provide emotional support, reducing the overall value of the interaction. And from a neurochemical perspective, dopamine plays a huge role in the excitement and pleasure of new romantic experiences. When someone is too needy, they may smother their partner with attention, removing the space for novelty, anticipation, and excitement. Our brain thrives on the thrill of chase and unpredictability, and neediness eliminates this by making the interaction seem less stimulating. What's worse is that most men who are very needy are not able to look in the mirror and admit this to themselves, so they rationalize their neediness as being in love. And neediness and love are two different things. Neediness is primarily driven by fear. Fear of losing the person, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough. And when someone rationalizes their neediness as love, they may say things like, I just can't live without you, or I need you to feel complete. Also, men often act in a very possessive way, trying to control a girl's time or behavior, rationalizing this as caring deeply or wanting to be close. This again is often romanticized in pop culture and movies. How many Hollywood movies have you seen where the guy just drops everything just to be with a girl? Of course it ends well in the movie, but in real life it gets very ugly. So how do you get rid of this toxic and repulsive behavior? From experience, I would say you need two things. Number one, simply having access to loads of options. If you have a date, let's say every 3 months, you'll naturally feel very nervous on the date. Because if you mess it up, you'll have to wait months for the next one. And because of your fear of being alone, you will justify why you like the girl more than you actually do. Maybe she's not your ideal type, but it's better to date someone than no one at all, right? And I guess she's not too bad. That is what your brain is going to tell you subconsciously. But what if you could date as many women as you wanted? Let's say you wanted to date one new girl per week. That's 12 women in 3 months, and suddenly you have loads of options. If you date 2 new women per week, that's 24 women in 3 months. And not only you'll be a lot less needy on the dates because you know you can date a new girl next week, you'll also be able to be more selective and actually see if you really like the girl, rather than having the fear of missing out make you rationalize why you like her. It's a duty not only to yourself, but also to the girl. However, having loads of options by itself is not enough to eradicate this disease of neediness completely. You might have loads of options, but then you meet a girl that you really like and suddenly turn into a possessive and obsessive leech. So the second thing that you need to eradicate neediness is solid self-esteem. The topic of self-esteem, it's much broader than the scope of this video. And I'm certainly no life coach, so I won't tell you how to live your life, but I'll tell you what worked for me. There are many definitions of self-esteem, but for me it's simply knowing that I am enough. And this means I don't really need anyone to complete me. Not money, not abs, and certainly not a particular girl. Now that doesn't mean that I go into a cave and meditate all day. I still date, of course, but I do this not because I'm seeking a particular outcome, but because I enjoy the process of it. I've been in a 7-year-long relationship with the girl of my dreams, and I've also been single where I date many different women at the same time. Both being single and being in a relationship have their advantages and disadvantages, so one state is not particularly better than the other one. What matters instead is the quality of the state. You can be in a great, secure, and fulfilling relationship, or miserable, possessive, and toxic relationship. In this case, state, which is the relationship, is the same, but the quality of the state is different. And the same with being single. You can be home alone for months watching porn on end, or constantly having different adventures and great connections with different attractive women. I'm not craving a particular state. Rather, I just try to maximize the state that I'm in. If I'm single, I just want to date the most fun, attractive, and smartest girls I can, and have cool adventures with them, no matter where it ends up. So learning how to get loads of different options and working on my self-esteem helped me to eradicate the disease of neediness. And if you want to see how I actually achieved this state of having loads of options and having the self-esteem, I will link to another video that talks about it below. Leave me a comment if you enjoyed this video, have any questions, or what you want to see next.